Welcome. This online session is one of a series of mindfulness explorations of artwork and objects held in the collection of Shropshire Museum and Art Gallery. As part of the slow art movement, we are going to invest some time in pausing in our busy lives to look, to breathe, and to be curious. In this session, we're going to look at a pair of Edwardian children's boots from the early 20th century. Before we begin, make sure you are sitting comfortably with your feet placed on the ground. Take a deep breath in and breathe out slowly. As you become aware of your breathing, try to release any thoughts of the past. Let go of any thoughts about the future and try to stay in the present moment. Acknowledge any thoughts as they enter your mind, but bring your focus back to the pair of boots. These black leather boots were donated by a local family to the museum along with other items. We know that they were worn by a little girl called Connie in 1918 when she was nearly 4 years old. Children would have worn shoes very similar in style to the adults. These are a pair of ankle-length lace-up leather boots. Imagine how Connie might have felt wearing these boots for the first time. Footwear is such a personal item of clothing. Look closely at the ridges and creases where the leather has moulded itself to the shape of the wearer's foot over time. The laces are held under tension across the vamp or the front part of the shoe. The edges don't quite come together, so the shoes were probably bought when Connie was a much smaller child with much smaller feet. As her feet grew, then so did the distance between the lacings. The boots have a small band of punched leather decoration across the toe, so not an inexpensive pair of boots. They were probably made in a factory rather than individually by hand, as shoe production was mainly industrialised by the early 20th century. These functional, well-worn boots may have been handed down from an older child who had grown out of them, or a pair ready to be passed on to a younger sibling. Footwear was an expensive item to purchase. Recall the feel of a pair of shoes in your hand, the smooth suppleness of the material, or the hard, glossy surface, the pattern of the laces, or the feel of a metal buckle, the bulges and creases where the foot has flexed and created its own impression. Was this why Connie's mother kept the boots? As mentioned before, shoes can be an intensely personal and evocative item, retaining some qualities of the wearer. Do you have a favourite pair of shoes or boots? Maybe from now or back in your childhood. Do they conjure up memories of a happy occasion, or maybe long years of comfortable walking? Were they practical or highly impractical, but you loved them anyway? Look at the signs of wear on these boots. There are a few indentations on the toe caps. I wonder how they happened. Kicking something that was hard, or falling over many times perhaps. Remember opening up a shoebox with a new pair of shoes nestling in the tissue paper. Leather has such a distinctive smell, the smell of wax polish on the leather. Hold on to the moment, recalling those favourite shoes, and return to listening to your breathing. Take a breath in and breathe out slowly. Take this moment with you. Thank you for taking time to look at this object from the costume collection of Shropshire Museum and Art Gallery.